Hi there crafters, it's Louise with you today, and I am sharing some new design team work on behalf of Kreations. And this project today is featuring a couple of the chipboard pieces, so some new releases for July, and I have titled this layout Autumn Days. So as you can see, I've used the Autumn Days chipboards, the skeleton trees, the fun page kit, and then the autumn wreath as well, but I haven't used all of the elements. I've just used some of the elements from each selection. So starting off, I've torn the paper. So paper tearing is one of my favorite things to do, and that's how I'm going to start this layout. Now I'm looking at what I wanted to create in the background of this particular page, and I sort of thought that my distress oxides would give me the kind of colors that would reflect that sort of autumn type feeling. Now, secondary to that, I wanted to actually use some of the leaves that I have hanging around in my stash, and I'm sort of looking at the leaves and I love how this works, but the leaves are really green. So I am going to use my distress inks a little bit later to give those leaves a little bit more of that brown colour, but in the meantime I'm sort of laying this out on the page to see how I feel about it. I've picked this photo of Master C, and I love that the background has that beautiful autumn colour palette as well, and you can kind of see the reflection of the sun in his hair, so it has that golden kind of feel to it. And this was from a photo shoot a couple of years ago, so it's really one of those reminders of how much I love to keep these memories. So certainly the photo thinking about autumn in Australia was a little bit tricky for me, but once I found what I was going to create with, it was a lot easier to work things out. Now, how am I going to treat my chipboard? So first of all, I'm going to just give it a coat of acrylic paint as soon as I can get some brown out of the tube. Had a little bit of trouble there, but I'm just using a sponge and adding some sort of, I don't want the acrylic paint to be smooth, so with the sponge you get that kind of roughed up kind of texture, which is what I have left with that particular chipboard piece. And I toyed with the idea of putting some clouds onto this layout, but it just really didn't fit with where I was going, so I've left those off. And what I want to do now is just seal my chipboard and to give it a kind of a glossy finish. So I'm just using embossing gloss liquid and just a clear embossing powder, and you can see how sort of shiny and shimmery that is now that it's on the page. So here's where I get my distress inks out and just add a little bit of extra sort of colour to those elements. I don't want them to be too bright, but I really like that pop of red off to the left. I think it coordinates quite well with the red of the distress oxide that I've let blend into that background. And the gold doily, I really love doilies because they just give you that sort of bit extra into the background. So when we're using paper, we tend to be quite square because that's what, well, this is me, I tend to be quite square because that's what my photo is, but what I want to do is add that circular element, and a doily is a great way to do that. So with my leaves here, I'm leaving the skeleton tree in the front, and I'm gluing all of this down with my hot glue gun because it's quite textured and there's a lot going on. The hot glue gun I find just gives me that instant hold, whereas if you're using tacky glue you sort of have to wait and hold it in place. So the hot glue gun worked for me in this particular instance. Now, as we move into the final stages of this layout, basically it's just a little bit of embellishing, adding a few extra bits and pieces to highlight things, and then we're going to be done. So little border around the outside, and I'm going to go to my stash and again sort of combine with the colours that I've used in this layout. So anything with that sort of brown, red, there's a little bit of yellow, some orange, some green, and I really like the way the tree looks on this page. So I think that's probably the favourite part of this creation, is having that tree with the leaves poking out of it. So I'm just having a look, and if this is your first time watching any of my videos, you'll see this box that I'm digging through to find embellishments. I actually have these boxes in all different sorts of elements stored in them, some of them by color, so some of them by type, and in this case I'm just picking through there to see if there's anything sticker wise or anything that I'd like to put on this particular layout to finish it off. So as you watch the final stages of this layout, what I'm going to say is thank you for watching, and I hope that you have enjoyed seeing me create this autumn days inspired layout. Hopefully, if you haven't already, hit that little subscribe button so you can see future videos from me. And don't forget to pop over and check out Kreations either on their website or their Facebook page. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next video.